guys. How are you? Oh my gosh, the last time I went live, I was like due in a couple weeks and then I ended up going into labor like a little bit earlier. So I was literally live like the day before I gave birth. And here I am with my baby. Um, Dio's actually out on a walk, not by himself, with his dad, and then he's gonna come make an appearance later. But we can talk about point shoes. Hi guys, I'm so excited to see you guys again. I feel like a person. Oh, can you guys hear me? Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Okay. So, baby's great. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, you guys are getting a lot of really great questions. I'm gonna have Jazz in the background, like, tag you guys so I can tell if your point shoes are dead. Um, a lot of people kill their shoes in a different way. They're being pulled back, and some people will fall down into the shoe. So either something will start to hurt, like your toes start to bruise, or your toes are support from the backbone of the shoe anymore. So it'll be really difficult for you to get over on your point shoes, or you would be too far over, or it'll be really difficult for you to releve. But everyone's dead point is a little bit different. So someone's dead shoes might be perfect for you. It's really difficult to tell from dancer to dancer how the shoes are dead. Okay, point shoe question number one. How do you know if your shoes need to be tighter? Your feet should not be sliding around inside your shoes. So your point shoes should be the tightest shoes you have ever worn. So imagine getting a cast on your arm. Like if you break your arm and have to get a cast, they have to set your bone so it has to be really tight, right? So your point shoes kind of have to fit the same way, where nothing should be moving, everything should be super tight so your feet are not sliding around. If your shoes are too big, some of the indications is when you go up on point, you'll start to feel like you're physically sliding down into your shoes. That might mean that the shoes are a little bit too wide or it might be too square. Also, another thing is there's just it's just not going to look as good. It's going to be a little bit baggier. There's going to be a lot of fabric. That's not always the best indication to choose the sizing, though, because sometimes your feet shrink more than other people. And if you're a big shrinker in your shoes, then you're going to have a lot of bagginess anyway. How can you tell when synthetic shoes are dead? This is a little bit more difficult. So, technically, synthetic shoes don't really die. They do get a little bit softer, but they don't get soft like a traditional shoe would. So, it just gets uglier, I guess. It does get a little bit softer, but it's not going to lose the support because the material that they use, it doesn't break down like paper mache. It breaks down just like the satin will break down a little bit more. It'll get uglier. It'll be like gross. So technically, the integrity of the shoe doesn't it doesn't break down as quickly, but it's just you know it'll just get uglier. That's the best way I can describe it. How do you know if your toe pads are too worn out? Okay, so everyone likes their toe pads differently, though. So I have some dancers that will literally wear disintegrating toe pads and they like it that way. They hate new toe pads. A lot of professional dancers are like this. So if you look at their toe pads, it's like, why do you even have that? Does it do anything? Because it looks so thin and it looks so broken down, but that's how they like it. Um, so it depends on how fluffy you like it. And some point shoes or some toe pads are going to break down a lot faster than others. So like lambswool toe pad, for instance. Oh, I hear my baby coming. You guys want to say hi? um, so lambswool toe pad will get a lot thinner a lot faster as opposed to gel. It's probably going to stay intact for a little while. Okay. Do you have tips for narrow feet when narrow size is not narrow enough? Dang, you must have really narrow feet because this was one of my problems too, but I don't have the narrowest feet, but this was definitely an issue. Um, if you can wear regular street shoe point shoes, you should be able to find a shoe that fits you because point shoes have a much larger range when it comes to widths and box shapes than traditional, like regular streetwear. So you should be able to find a shoe that's narrow enough for you if you can wear regular shoes. But typically the narrower shoes are made in the Russian models. I would say like the Russian factories, they make really narrow shoes. Like the 2007 Last from Nikolai or Grishko, if you're from elsewhere, those run the narrowest and they can even get you a 0X. So I would say that 2007 Last in a 1X is pretty narrow, but you could special order in certain models in a 0X, which is extremely narrow. So if you need a very narrow shoe, there are some options for you. But yeah, sizing is so hard with point shoes. I'm having incredible trouble keeping my heel on. Elastics everywhere. Oh my gosh, you are not alone. So many people have issues with their heels staying on. Let's see. So if all of the little elastic tricks don't work for you, there are some heels that stay on better than others, and it depends on your heel shape. Some people have a very tapered heel with a really flat backside. So meaning like some people have a protruding heel. So if you look at the back of the heel will come out a little bit, and then some people just it goes down like a cliff. And if you have like a cliff heel, then it's really difficult to keep your heel on. So if you have like a cliff heel with a really tapered backside, then you might want to consider a shoe that has a heel that kind of cups in. Um, like if you take a look at a Block Heritage, for instance, it has this heel cup that kind of digs into the back of your heel. Those tech, those tend to stay on a little bit better with feet that just have a very, very tapered heel. How do you feel about the Lyra gainers? Are there anything like the original US manufactured ones? What's up with the what's up with the sizing? Um, I like the Lyra. I think, if you've watched me for a long time, I have a I tend to like softer shoes better than harder shoes. I think they're just a little bit easier to articulate. It's easier for you to like really move with your shoe. Some people require a harder shoe, and that's fine. And obviously, I'm not going to go against that if you need a harder shoe, but I tend to like softer shoes. So the Lyra after came out after the Europa Gainer Minden. The Europa Gainer Minden was just a little bit more stiff. So they created a new satin for the Lyra. So it's woven with like a softer fabric material, like a softer satin material. So it was a little bit easier for dancers to be able to move their feet. Babe, babe, Dan. Sorry, guys. Dan, can I see Dio? Do you think that male dancers are being discriminated against wearing point shoes? I got a show. I'm on live right now. You want to say hi to Dio, guys? Okay. I don't think I think the dance world is pretty inclusive. Like I love being in this world because I think a lot of people know what it feels like to be discriminated against, just our industry as a whole. So, oh, hi, hi, look, guys. This is where he usually hangs out, like when I'm working. Look at my baby. You guys, I can't even tell you. I am obsessed. You guys, I did not know an obsession like this. Oh, look at these cheeks. Yeah, so he is 7 weeks. Yeah, 7 weeks old now, which is insane. Wait, is it 8? He's 8 weeks old. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I want him to stay this way forever. But yeah, okay, so talking about male dancers being discriminated against, I just think that there's not a lot of choreography yet that allows men to be on point, but there should be. There is a ballet company in the Bay Area called Ballet 22, Ballet Tudos, and they're an entire company of men just on point, and I think it's fabulous. And there is a male dancer in, I think, Pacific Northwest that perform on point. And there's several dancers at the San Francisco Ballet that wear point shoes. None of their choreography requires them to be on point, so they don't perform on point, but they certainly dance on point for sure. So in terms of discrimination, I don't think there's a lot of places that discriminate against wearing point shoes, but I think there's just not a lot of opportunities for them to wear. You guys. Dude, you guys, mom brain is real. Like, I left my phone in the freezer, and I, like, almost put my face wash on my toothbrush this morning. Like, it is wild. Like, I don't know where my brain is right now, but yeah. This is my baby. You guys, it's so fun. There is no obsession like this. Okay, I'm going to try to pay attention and answer more of your questions. How come when I'm on flat, the heel of my point shoes fit perfectly, but when I'm on point, the heel part seems to be too big? Great question. This is true for almost every person because you are one size on flat and you're another size on point. And how much your feet shrink depends on each person. Some people shrink a little bit, some people shrink a lot. So for there's it's very normal to have a little bit of slack when you go up on point, but if it's big, oh, bless you, blessings, my son. Um, if you have a lot of slack when you go up on point, then you might want to try something with like a stretch heel or some kind of elastic on the back of your shoes. So it just depends. A lot of dancers that have shrinking feet or disappearing heel, as we call it, will wear their shoes a little bit tighter. I don't recommend it if you're a dancer in training. A lot of dancers who are professional will do this just because it looks nicer and also feels a little bit more supportive. But what's up, dude? Um, but I would say that either you wear your shoes a little bit tighter, or you try a different model. Certain shoes have higher heels than others, so other heels will look baggier than others. But yeah, he's the best. Okay, so his name is Dio. For those of you who don't already know, um, my partner, he likes Greek mythology, so he was like, "Oh, I love Dionysus or Dionysus." I don't actually know how it's called, but like, good luck to my parents to try to pronounce that. So we shortened it to Dio, and that's where we got it. And apparently, there's like an old rock star named Dio, and everyone refers to him as that. But I had no idea actually. Best advice for explaining to my students what to look and feel for in point shoe fitting so they can advocate for themselves and what they need. This is fantastic. Okay, there's so many different things, but number one is pain. So a lot of dancers will say that this hurts during a fitting, and they will get a response of it's supposed to hurt. But that's not necessarily true. If you feel it in the first 5 seconds of being on point, you're going to feel it in 30 minutes into class a lot. So pain is number one. It's telling you that something is not correct. Another thing is if you feel like your feet are sliding down or sliding around, that's not a good sign. So you want to make sure that you feel supported and secure. When you go up on point, you want to feel like you are like the shoes are a little bit like it's supporting you, both the backbone and the wings. Do you feel like your alignment is correct? Your toes to your ankles, to your knees, to your hips. Does it feel like it's completely aligned? Is it well stacked on top of each other? So all of these things you should keep in mind. But It should feel tight without feeling like it's painful, and I think that's where a lot of dancers go wrong. They don't know the difference between good pain and bad pain, and basically the answer to that is there's no such thing as good pain. Tight is fine, but painful is not good. I snapped my shanks on my point shoe. Yikes. So Dancia Electra Tech, and I don't know what to do for it to not happen again. Um, so with a shoe like the Electra is actually the shank is removable, so you can add different shanks to your shoes. So I don't know what part snapped necessarily. Um, so maybe you just change out the shank. But I actually had a fitting today, a virtual fitting today, where the dancer actually snapped a synthetic shoe, and that was because they were like manipulating it with their hands. If you have a synthetic shoe, don't break it in manually. I generally don't tell people to break in their shoes manually, regardless of the shoe, unless you're a professional dancer, you're getting 12 pairs of point shoes a month, then like you can go at it. But with synthetic shoes and traditional shoes, if you break down your shoes too much, then it's probably not going to do you any favors. So make sure that you're not snapping your shanks, you're not like manipulating it with your hands, and just allow your feet to kind of break it down. How do I know if I need rosin? So there's a couple different uses for rosin. A lot of places in the United States. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. How do I know if I need rosin? Okay, so in the United States, a lot of people use Harlequin dance floors and they don't allow you to wear rosin because it'll ruin the floors. So if you have really nice marley, you're not going to use that to slip to prevent from slipping. But you can also use rosin to kind of keep your shoe on your feet as well. So if you have spray rosin or if you want to crush some rosin and then put it on your tights on your feet, your shoes will stay on your feet a little bit better as well. So during performances and stuff, you can like pat rosin on your feet before you put on your point shoes and it'll stay on better. You good? Hey. Hi. He still doesn't have like neck support yet. Hello. Hello. So if it looks like I'm like manhandling him, it's just because he doesn't have neck support. Okay, I'm going to a 4-week summer intensive. Will one pair of point shoes be enough? Oh, point shoes typically last me about 6 months. Okay, so you don't go through point shoes that quickly. It sounds like, yeah. So 6 months is a long time. So you might just, be one of those people that don't break their shoes that quickly, and if that's true, one pair might last you 4 weeks. I wouldn't chance it though, because typically for most summer intensives, they say to bring at least 1 pair of point shoes per week. So your point shoes are supposed to last 10 to 15 hours of wear. Hey. Yeah, I know. So this is what I look like when I'm doing virtual fittings. He's usually like on my lap hanging out or eating. Yeah. Should we go back to dad? Is this boring you? No, you're good? He's good. He's good. So and it depends on the summer intensive too, like what level you're in and where you're going. So there's certain summer intensives that will just do like 1 hour point a day. And in the yo, oh, okay, maybe daddy, maybe daddy will take him. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, you guys, I can't stand it. So cute. Okay. So yeah, take at least 2 pairs even if, you don't go through point shoes that quickly. You're gonna see that there are some dancers that will go through multiple pairs a week. So, yeah, summer intensive is rough. What's your favorite thing about being a mom? Oh my gosh, what isn't my favorite thing? I like you guys, I this is my first time having a baby. I had no idea. Everything. Like, I will wake up in the morning and, like, be so excited to see him. He's so cute. I love it. Everything is the best. Will you put Dio in ballet? If he wants. I'm all about letting my kid do a bunch of things, and then he can just choose whatever he wants to do. So, like, all about like, I definitely wanna put him in some sort of arts, like, music, dance, whatever it is, and then, like, just let him have fun and see which one he likes. But, like, I am I thought before I had my baby that I was gonna be, like, dragon parent, but I'm such a softie now. I'm weak, I'm soft, so, like, whatever he wants. Have you ever fitted any dancers with EDS or any connective tissue complications? Yes. Um, I actually a lot of people, virtually will sign up for a point fitting with me specifically because they have EDS. So, for those of you who don't know what EDS is, it's a connective tissue disorder, and, um, and there are many different types of EDS as well, but you're basically, a little bit looser, like, your joints are a little bit looser, everything's a little bit more painful. So when I fit dancers with EDS, I am really cognizant about support. Everything is going to be about support. So with most dancers, I'm thinking about articulation, roll through, aesthetics, how beautiful things are. And for dancers who have EDS, safety is my biggest concern. So I'm going to think about support. I'm thinking about how the dancer looks stable, alignment, things like that. So I am definitely looking a little bit more towards that than anything else. What was your best experience with somebody needing a point shoe fitting? Best experience? Oh man. I don't know. I can tell you like groups of people. I love fitting adult dancers because especially adult recreational dancers who are starting point for the first time, because I feel like this group of people are starting dance as an adult purely for the passion and love for it rather than, oh, I want to be a ballerina one day. So I love that group of people. I also love first pair of point shoes because they're just so excited to be there, and like I'm just honored to be part of that journey for like, because everyone remembers their first pair of point shoes. I remember getting my first pair of point shoes. Um, and I get to be part of that memory is like so cool. So those are great experiences. But oh man, I can't think of like a single like point shoe fitting experience that I would consider the best. I just, you know, I love my job. I love fitting. I love problem solving, all these things. So yeah. Y'all are all my favorites. How did you realize that you wanted to pursue a career as a point shoe fitter? My mom is a point shoe fitter, and I think I realized this when I started doing point shoe fitting for my own store. I didn't realize that it was such a necessary skill set because I grew up kind of working at my mom's store. I learned how to fit point shoes from her. So I just thought that was normal to be able to get that kind of service. When people started coming in from so far and people started flying in to get fitted for point shoes, I'm like, wow, that's insane. Like, do you guys not have this service? So I think that experience really solidified that I was in the right place. It's like a skill set that is so useless in the real world. I don't know what I would do if I am not a point shoe fitter because I have, like, no other, like, hireable skills. But in this small world, in this tiny, tiny niche, it's very necessary, so I'm very happy that I'm here. Do you still recommend demi point? Absolutely. If your studio recommends demi point or have a pre-point program, I think it's a fantastic step. It's a really great bridge between ballet flats and point shoes because you kind of get used to the feel of point shoes without doing anything that is, scary. Any tips about getting back on point after a sprained ankle? Ooh, okay. It was sprained for a month, and when I go up, I can't really go up all the way. By the way, Dio is like so cute. Thank you. So the best advice I can give you is rehab completely. A lot of people will come back to point when they don't feel pain anymore. and you get cleared by a physical therapist. But you should go to a dance physical therapist because you're probably fine enough to go about your daily life. Like if you healed from a sprained ankle, you're walking around your daily life and you're going to be fine. But they're not thinking about you going on your toes. And that is so much less stable than just walking around on flat. And I see so many dancers coming back from an injury without rehabbing completely. And that starts to build up a new set of injuries. So definitely find a doctor or a physical therapist who works with dancers on point and rehab completely with alignment and instability and like make sure that everything is like ready to get back on point because that's very different than trying to walk again. You guys are such great questions, and I love hanging out with you guys. We have just about 5 minutes left, and I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. How do you feel about pre arched point shoes? I will say most point shoes now are pre arched. The degree to how pre arched it is different from shoe to shoe. But there are very few point shoes that are just completely flat now. So even like if you remember like the Rubin or like the RC30, it has a small pre-arch. And I think anatomically, I think that's better for most people. Not for everybody, but for most people, I think a slight pre-arch is great. The downside to pre-arch is that it predetermines where the shoe will break. So everyone's arch is going to break at a different place on their foot. If you have a pre-arch shoe, it's going to tell you where the shoe is going to break. So it doesn't have that beautiful customization that you might have from a flat shank where you can just cut the 3/4 mark. But I think it's a pretty good innovation in the point shoe world. And most point shoes are now pre-arched anyway. How do you feel about Point Shop being 10 years old? You guys, I totally forgot. Like this year, I was like, "Oh, it's 2024," but it's totally our 10-year anniversary. It's insane that we've been in business for 10 years. We actually started the business a little bit earlier. So I started the company in 2011, but back then we were just a regular retail store. And then it revolved. It evolved into the Point Shop in 2014. So I would say 2014 is definitely where I would start the clock of when I started the Point Shop. And 10 years goes by like this. I feel like there's so many things that happened throughout this decade, like COVID, obviously, and now I have Dio and the traveling ban, and there's so many things that happened. And I'm so grateful for all of you for being part of that journey. You guys are just incredible. YouTube was another thing that we started. I started social media for my business because um, frankly, I had no money for marketing and I had to get the word out somehow. So I started out on Facebook and then I moved to Instagram and then I started focusing on YouTube. And it's been amazing and you're amazing. And I love being able to connect with you. It's pretty awesome. What do you think is the Point Shop's greatest accomplishment after being in the business for a decade? I can't name like a singular greatest accomplishment because there are so many. It's an accumulation of a lot of the different things. Like obviously we have social media and a way to talk with you guys. Our retail stores, our locations, all of our locations across California. I think though my personal greatest accomplishment, I think, is my team. We have a core team of 4. Jasley, who's behind the scenes right now, Melissa, who's my manager that overlooks all of the operations of the business, and Elsie, who's in the Bay Area and oversees all of our marketing. So there's 4 of us, and I think that that is something that I am the most proud of. And I feel the most love for, and then everyone else that supports the Point Shop. There's our team is 10 people, across Southern and Northern California, and everyone that comes in contact with our team, our employees. I love them and I'm so grateful for them. So I would say that that's probably I don't know if that's my accomplishment, but I guess that's like a point shop was a place for us to get together and find each other. So that was the best. I love you guys. Okay. Well, I think that is about it. You guys, I love doing this. I love that Dio popped in. I was able to give him back before he started getting too fussy. But I love doing this. If you guys want us to do more lives, let us know. During Christmas, we did a full Nutcracker viewing. We watched the Nutcracker together. I thought that was really fun. If there's other ballets that you want us to watch together, let's do it. The San Francisco Ballet is starting their season. Their first show is in Stanford next month in July. If you're in San Francisco and if you're attending any of the shows, I go to basically all of them. Let me know. Send me a DM. Send Shop a DM. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.